So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
Second.
Warren made a motion, Commissioner Romeo had a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Need consideration to approve the minutes of our June 3rd, June 8th, June 17th, and June 24th meetings.
So moved, Mr. Commissioner.
Have a motion, Commissioner Romeo.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lovett. Any discussion on the minutes? Y'all need a minute to look over about the books, what the books like.
The purpose of getting it to you early.
Right. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Moving on now, we're gonna change up kinda how we're doing the meeting. Had the public comment before we start any new business. So at this time, I'll open up public comment to comment on anything that's on today's agenda. Anyone here would like to speak? Not, I'll close the public comment portion and move on to appearances by Pastor Joanne Odom to discuss conditions of Hall Road.
Council
Anybody
Officer,
here?
do you know her?
I know.
Yeah. I didn't understand, I didn't know.
There's someone coming.
I think that's, she's coming in. I think that's what coming in. Yeah, I think it is.
You got a good time, man.
Yeah.
Miss Odom's in the hallway. She's
Okay.
done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newton, I appreciate that. I'm gonna have to pay you a little stipend today. Running the door, huh?
You too.
How are you? You Miss Odom?
Yes.
You walked in at just the right time. You have our attention now, whatever you wanna bring before us, you have the floor. Or I can come back to you in a minute, if you'd like. Is that better? All right, we're gonna postpone that just a minute if everybody's in agreement. All right, we'll do that after the new business. We'll move appearances down to after new business, so. Moving on to our first order of new business, consideration to fill an unexpired term on the DHR board. Lori,
Yeah, this is
That's
it's an
interesting.
unexpired term that was left vacant when, Brett Dickerson resigned from the sheriff's department. And they are asking that we appoint Tanya Barker in his spot to fill the unexpired term. She's familiar with the board and everything else, so they're recommending that she be appointed in his place.
all right. I have a motion to appoint Ms. Tanya Barker.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Warren made a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Triplett, second. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving on, consideration to approve and adopt a resolution of intent to abandon a public road.
Mr. Chairman, that is just the first step in the process where by the board says it is going to consider pursuant to state law the possibility of abandoning Farm Road, which would be the entire length of that road running from where it begins off of Ski Pond Road till it comes to a dead end. There should be attached to your resolution, a copy of the, well, there will be to the one that you adopt, if you adopt it, a copy of a plat showing, the road, and as I looked at it currently, under change in ownership in some of the property on Farm Road, but at least currently, all of the property was owned by one person. And, following the adoption, there will be then a notice run in the newspaper. There will be an opportunity for a public hearing on the closing at the next meeting in August. And, then a consideration by the board as to whether you want to actually abandon it or not.
All right. So I need a motion right now to
Adopt the resolution.
adopt this
as
resolution.
Well,
presented.
wait, if you'll wait just 1 second. I have a lot of the paperwork where I own the road, the property on both sides of the road. We went through this, I know what you're fixing to say, Will. It doesn't matter if you own property on each side of it. I asked one of y'all to come out there and look, Miss Allison did. Mike Kyle has also been out there, and I also put up a barbed wire fence across my property. But the problem is, and I think Stephanie is here today, she is from Effingham County. She bought Ted Larsey's place, and I give her access to go across my property to get their trailer set up over there as a new family coming in. The next thing I know, Miss Lori, as a county commissioner, had told her that she could put a driveway on my property. Roger had been out there to see where to put a sewer pipe off of Farm Road. Did Lori tell her to come to the meeting and let's resolve this? No. Lori told her to hurry up and get a driveway put on that property before the next meeting, and that Miss Stephanie is the only one that can stop me from closing that road. As I can tell you, Miss Allison went up there and seen that I own that. That's a private driveway. It only goes to my property. It does not go no further but to a house that I own on that road. Mike Calkin also, he was a witness out there, because it cost us 6 hours of what Lori done on a phone call ahead of the last meeting that she had with Miss Stephanie. They had already conspired to get a road, to get a driveway off of Farm Road out there. And as a citizen of Screven County, I think that's a no-no. We vote y'all in, we didn't vote her in. She has no decisions in what happens in Screven County. She has no legal right to
Wait, stop. This
tell
is not-
somebody from Effingham County that they can come on my property and put a road.
This has got, like, until the road's closed, it's a public road, though, if I understand correctly.
That is correct, but you also have to go across my property. If you put a driveway on there, I own property on both sides. You can't just go out there and put a driveway across your land. I can't do that to you.
Got nothing to do with what we're dealing with, Mr. Chairman.
And as far as that goes, Mr. Lawyer, if you've got a deed to that property, I've been paying taxes on that road since 2007. I got proof right here. And now, if Screven County owns it, they owe me some back taxes. And I do want them. I mean, if you got a deed.
You understand you pay taxes to the center of every road.
That is correct, but it
Every
has
dirt
to
road
be,
in there, I mean, it's not
Screven
cut
County
out.
has to have a piece of paper saying that I signed a deed over to them too.
No.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Okay. Well, you know what, as far as the road, I put a barbed wire fence up on my side over there. Mike can testify to that. It's a barbed wire fence over there. Nobody else can access that road. If you wanna do my private driveway to that gray house, have at it. It only goes to my property.
You came and asked us to close the road, and we're starting the process, that's all that
Well,
I've
I've
been
come
involved
to
in.
tell you that in the meantime, Lori can't go around telling people what they can and can't do on my property either.
I don't believe she told anybody what she could do on
Stephanie,
your
did
property.
she not tell you?
The reason why Mr. Roger came out was to see where it was allowed to put the driveway in.
Off of
not
Farm Road.
Where, whether it be Farm Road, whether it be Ski Pond, whether it be 24, that's why Mr. Roger came out. Not because Miss Lord said you can put a driveway off of Farm Road. That's why he came out, was to see where it was accessible to do so.
Lori, you
That's
did
what
not.
they do. I mean, that's what our road department does.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, we're not this
We're
is
not
not
gonna
the
do
time,
this.
I
That's
know we're
exactly-
not.
No.
It's a lie. And Mike Kyle had ended up coming out. I dealt with this for 6 hours. Roger was out there for a couple hours. Mike Kyle ended up having to be called out there to tell those people, and they destroyed my property. They destroyed ditches and stuff out there. I got pictures, and Mike Kyle as a witness. I understand you don't want to fool with this. I understand.
No, it's not that I wanna fool with it, but you asked us to do something and we're trying to do it.
I understand that. I understand that. But the road is absolutely closed now anyway.
How is it absolutely closed?
Because I have a barbed wire fence that goes to my
Well, to
property.
me, that's probably illegal.
No, sir. You can't tell me what to do on my property. I own the land on the other side.
She closed off, Mr. Commissioner, she closed off the part going across the ditch under her property, not the road itself.
It has
Alright.
nothing to do with that road.
Basically what happened, I'm sorry, but yeah, when they got the property, they apparently asked Ms. Thompson if they could cross it. They crossed over, they put a trailer back in there, and they crossed over the ditch and knocked it down, or the level. And, she owns 12 to 15 foot on the other side of the road is her property. And these folks had crossed her property to get to where the trailer was at, and some other folks, and that's basically what the problem's about. They're crossing, she has that 15 foot, 12 to 15 foot, she owns it from the ditch bank across, and they crossed over the ditch to get to the trailer. They moved in here, and some workmen came up there, and they crossed over the same way, and crossed over the ditch, and that's where the problem lies. They crossed that 12 to 15 foot of her property to get to their property. Is that right?
Somewhat, she had given us permission to do so.
That is correct.
And that
I
is
did.
on one of your deputies' video cams.
Yes.
That she had given us permission to do.
And Mike Kyle's well aware of that.
Correct.
I explained that to
Property
him.
being destroyed, there
But,
was.
and the honest reason it got stopped is because I was paying attention to what was going on. And I rode up there, and Roger and Stephanie was out there on my property, and I said, what's going on? We're deciding where to put a sewer pipe. You're not putting a driveway. She said, Roger as a witness was standing right there. Lori told me that I could.
No, I said I had spoke
Well,
to
Roger-
Lori, and she
And
told
Roger
me
had to
all
explain to her that
It sounds more like a civil matter. I mean, I'm not here to,
I'm not here to bash anybody either. Roger can tell you that he had to explain to her who Lori was. She said she's a secretary. She's
not.
a city manager. He ended
not
up
that
telling
either,
her.
but anyway. So you wanna withdraw this, what we're working on right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
As I said, it's a private driveway. Your county commissioner can testify to that, and Mike Kyle. Mike Kyle's already told them, he went and told them people to get off that road because it is a private driveway.
Alright.
Two different things, I think.
It has always been a private driveway.
She's,
Well,
it's
why
a
are we
private
closing
drive-
the public?
they're legal on the.
That's a good question.
What she's talking about is not the public road.
Well,
There's no question they have the right to go up and down the public road unless they want to. But when they cross over that 12 to 15 foot,
Well, that's a civil matter. It's
That's a
not a matter
civil
for
matter.
us to address here.
It's not until somebody starts telling other people what to do on it.
What she needs to do, correct me, Mr. Attorney, she needs to go to court, get an injunction, stopping her from crossing the road.
That's correct.
Nobody's crossing any property.
No, but she
The
can't
only-
cross it anymore.
The only question today is whether or not we are going to go forward with closing the public road that's called Farm Road. That's the only issue today.
Just leave it alone. I mean, if you don't.
And it should be a moot problem shortly, once the driveway, they've got it at the end of the road where they enter the property off of Ski Pond. Once that driveway's complete, she won't need to go down the road on the other side.
We haven't been down the road
We had it
since
down.
she called you to begin with.
Right.
So I don't
When you
understand why.
explain to them to
it's
stay
still
off my private property, that is
Well,
correct.
apparently they hadn't gone on the property.
So here's the deal.
What are the bushes with the board?
It seems that it's a private drive that the county has been maintaining.
That is
Okay.
correct.
And so that seems to be maybe possibly an error on the county side for actually scraping it.
No.
That is correct.
That,
That is
The
correct.
county has
So
scraped
if
it
you
for
move
long enough for
forward,
it to
if you
become a
move
public
forward,
road by
if you move
prescription.
forward with this right here, then it'll close it, so then it'll be done, and the county won't scrape it anymore, and no one will have access to it.
Exactly.
And it will be literally a private drive that will be in your possession from Ski Pond Road all the way back. So if you kinda get it twofold, you see what I'm saying?
Well, I don't, cause you just said it's a private drive, why would we close a private drive?
It's not a private drive, it's a public road.
what
It,
Itself.
the question about it is because y'all are scraping it. And unless y'all can produce something, you know what I'm saying,
No, I
like,
don't.
do y'all have,
It's on the
You
public.
said
you're,
you know
you're
what I'm
scraping,
saying, I
you're
don't.
scraping it,
Yeah,
okay? And she is saying that it's a private drive,
okay,
and we shouldn't be scraping private drives.
okay.
So, we're gonna move forward to, however you wanna view it, you wanna view it as a public road, she wants to view it as a private drive. If we're gonna move forward, so she doesn't want anybody running across her property, and you don't have a problem with it, then let's just move forward and be done with it. And then the county won't be scraping private drives anymore, cause we should be doing that anyway.
It's, the road itself, Farm Road, is a public road. It's on the county map. It's a
It is
public road.
county mouth.
And I don't think anybody disagrees with that problem.
Well-
Where the problem lies is the crossing over her 12 to 15 foot, her property, and she
I-
gave them permission, then she withdrew the permission.
I
And not
understand
only
that
that, the
part.
private road ends right there at that
And-
gray house.
And then saying she got
My
that
house.
blocked off, but nobody goes back to accept some property, she has a house back in the back where somebody lives in, rents from her. But the actual farm road is, as long as I can remember, has been a public road the county has maintained,
No,
and so,
2006, I have paperwork, they never even scraped the road. William Laird told them, yeah.
but it, you know, it's a public road.
Yes,
And so, whenever you change it, then it'll be a private road, then there won't be any more problems.
That's right.
And she can put a gate up there at, Ski Pond and stop anybody from going in there.
And that's what we're trying to do here.
So,
Right
in
now,
other
you
words,
can't.
out of this meeting today, it's gonna stay a public road. We have to go through steps or something
Mhm.
more here?
if we agree to vote on this resolution, it will move forward to be closed.
Okay,
And then when we get through with, as Hubert just explained, there's a public hearing, there's 2 or 3 other things, and then we make the final vote, probably 2 meetings from now?
Well, I think we can do it in August,
Possibly in August?
yes.
okay. So, the county's gonna maintain it for all the property damage that got done to the ditches and stuff. They're gonna maintain all this, correct? And that is basically my purpose for being here today, is the ditches got destroyed and the roads messed up from the ripping and raring from that one incident. And I wanted to make sure that they were gonna come.
So you want the
and-
county to scrape the road, then you don't want the county to scrape the road?
Well, to be honest with you, the road was fine until Miss Lori decided to tell somebody to come and they could go across my ditches. And no, I'm sorry, Will, but it was done. As a witness, there's Mike and there's Roger, and there's 2 other people.
It's 2 whole separate things.
It's a destroying of private property. Yeah, I expect the county to come and dig them ditches back out, that these people got pissed off and decided to drive across, and I have Mike as a witness. Yeah, I expect them to, because Lori decided to tell them to do this, instead of coming back and telling them to come to the meeting.
All along.
Yes,
That's not the
do.
issue at hand, okay, good. The resolution is the issue at hand. So, what are the wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve it and go forward with it.
Motion from Commissioner Willis to adopt the resolution to close Farm Road. I have a second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Dixon, second. Any discussion on it?
What's the benefit to the county to continue to maintain if the woman does not want the road maintained? I mean, why push the issue with a resident?
I don't have an issue with it, but it seems to really get blown out of proportion. I mean, my only issue was, you say it's a private drive, obviously it's a county road, so if it's not, we wouldn't close it.
Okay, well, I've got a list, and I don't have it on me, but I have a list of roads that the county scrapes. One of them is the Lane Drive up there by Shortstop. It is listed on that list that come from the road department as a private drive. Why is it on that list? I mean, I think there might be a few discrepancies in our roads. I live on a road that was cut off. My parents actually, there was a road that come up into through their driveway.
I'm good. I
That's
don't
cut
want
off.
to I
But
don't
I'm
think we
just
scrape
saying,
any
like,
private
there's-
road.
Well, I agree,
Well-
but when you get in the question about what is a county road and what's not a county road and what's on a map and what's not on a map, there's some discrepancies, because that road was a county road and it's still on the map, but it's not maintained at all, okay? I mean, I can show you where it's at. So, let's just, my question was, what is the benefit to keeping this road maintained by the county if she doesn't want it maintained?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
Well, that's an issue that'll come up at the next meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I wanna ask Roger, on that road, is that a county maintained road or a private road?
Farm road,
Uh-huh,
it was a county maintained road, we scraped it.
uh-huh. So if it's a county road, who has the right to close the county road unless they come before the board and close that road then?
It's got to come before the board.
Right, and right now, I just feel like right now, it's a county road, and right now, because the one person wanna close the county road, I don't see the relevance here.
Well, the relevant is this, it only goes to my house.
Then, right now.
It goes nowhere else.
Yeah, but it's still a county road. If it's a county road, it belongs to the county. If we maintain the road, that's what we should continue doing.
Commissioner Lovett.
Well, obviously, I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
I'm confused about, apparently there's a property owner here. Are you landlocked back there or what?
No.
No, we're not. We, bought Ted Laracy's old place, which is at the corner of 24 Ski Pond and Farm Road.
Okay.
When we bought the property, the driveway that we came in off of was off of Farm Road.
Okay.
And unbeknownst to us, county ordinance states that if it's a private drive, it has to be posted, it's a private drive. Mr. Reeves didn't have any posting. That Farm Road, when it got to her rental, went from public to private. So we thought the entire road was a public road. And when we met her husband, he didn't say anything about that driveway being theirs or anything like that. You weren't there.
But you were told that the road was gonna be
Can,
closed.
can I finish, please?
And
I
then
let
you
you
can
said your
finish.
piece. And so then she had come on property and we had workers out there. They were parked on the side of the road. You could still access Farm Road, you could get around them. And she told them that they needed to leave, that they had no right to access Farm Road, period. And so the workers on the property left and called me saying they were kicked off the property. We met her the next day, at which time we did file a police report, with Milton. Is that the deputy's Milton? And that's when Ms. Reeves came out and said that the whole road was a private drive, that they owned it, that the driveway was theirs. The driveway that we accessed was a pre-existing driveway to the property that she had put in when they were leasing Mr. Ted's land to farm. We didn't destroy any property, we didn't make a driveway that we weren't, it was already there. She had given us permission at that time to continue to use that driveway, and once everything was done on our property construction wise, that we put in our own driveway, at which point we were trying to go out there and do, and she told us that we weren't allowed to use the driveway anymore. And has since put up the barbed wire fence. It is an ongoing issue between her and I. The paperwork that I have says that we own property to Farm Road. Our deed says that our property goes to Farm Road. Our plat says our property goes to Farm Road. I've asked her to produce paperwork otherwise because she says different, at which point she told me that she will not do. I asked.
Well, Mr. Reeves,
Mr. Roger was there. I asked.
if we adopt the resolution and then at the next meeting, the issues that she's bringing up, if she doesn't want it closed, is that where we address
That's where you
this?
address it, not today.
All right, so now all we need to do is decide whether we're gonna accept this resolution, adopt it, and move forward or not. Have a motion and a second on the floor. Any more discussion on this? Mr. Lovett, does that answer your question?
I think so. So you could actually now, you could access your property from 24 or from Ski Pond Road if
Correct.
you wanted to.
Obviously, being 24 State Road, it's gonna be a longer process than
Right.
just putting it off a ski pond. We have gone through the process. to put a secondary access, you know, off of Ski Pond until the issue with Farm Road gets resolved. If you come off of Ski Pond, it's a half-mile long driveway that we have to put in versus coming in where we originally planned, which is off of Farm Road and going straight into the house. So that's the issue with us, is obviously the cost of a half-mile long driveway versus what our plat and our deed says, which is us being able to come off of Farm Road because that's where our property line is.
So closing Farm Road would cost you some money.
In an extreme amount, yes.
So your property connects to Farm Road, is that what I'm understanding?
That's
Is-
for the deed and the plat.
That's your dead layers of lot right
Yes,
there.
sir.
I will be glad to show you the plats.
But I still don't know who this is.
Mr. Reeves.
And that's basically for the law, a lawyer, just let her, let's go to court, she can go to court with all that.
What they're gonna have to do is both of them will have to get a surveyor, survey the land, get the surveyors to agree on where the line is.
They already done that.
If they can't, surveys don't agree, we'll have to hire a third surveyor to go ahead and meet with all those out there.
Hey, y'all being rude now.
Yes, you're correct, 'cause I'm trying to explain to him.
Well, hold up a second, let the sheriff talk and then y'all finish up. Thank you.
It's already been surveyed off.
So we got two surveys apparently saying different things. We're gonna have to bring in a county
Well-
surveyor.
Well, from what I
Get all
understand,
three of them together and let them decide on where the actual line is.
well, from what I understand today, the only issue is the resolution, whether we wanna move forward. And then the next meeting's where the surveys aligns, who's got right or wrong, comes into play.
Mr. Chair, what do you recommend? What are you recommending? Cause I don't have a clue at this point.
I'm fine with adopting the resolution to move on, and then everything will come out in the next meeting is where it needs to go.
Why we adopt the resolution?
But now I'm fine,
If it's private road.
wishes of the board.
But
Any more questions from the board? All in favor of adopting the resolution to close Farm Road?
I'm in favor, but I think we're gonna hit a kink in it.
I agree.
Well, to move on with the process, right?
Move on, now, this is not that we're closing the road.
It's the process.
Move on with the
Process.
process.
Just to move forward,
Process.
yes.
We'll move
To
forward.
determine what's what, gotcha.
Because this will never have a resolution if we don't
Yeah.
move forward.
Gotcha.
We need to go and get it.
Okay.
Any opposed? Two opposed.
Rosa, did you?
I'm agreeing to just do the resolution to move forward.
Move forward.
Thank you.
Next one might be a different story.
I don't have a problem closing the private road. The public road.
Well, that's just,
All right, moving on, new business, of prison agreement consideration to renew the man. Yeah. We're gonna start with new business. Ms. Odom, would you like to address us now? You have the floor. If you'd like to stand up or sit down, whatever is good for you.
Each and everyone in the room, to all the county commissioners. My name is Joanne Z. Odom, and I'm here this morning to address a road issue off of Hall Road, which we've been, it's just been in the process of now, I brought five lots, 3 acres, 3.28 acres, in 1987. Back then it was Hall, now it was Twin Oaks Suburban, and off of Hall. But anyway, from the time that we has been back there, at the time, Woodrow Boyd and myself owned all that land on both sides of the road, and Century 21 owned dead end part. And over the years, Woodrow Boyd sold his portion to, what I was told, 3 family members on the other side of the road. And so the other family members got together and they allowed they're joining, which is off, really off of Hassendale Road. If anybody know where y'all know where that is, Hassendale Road, across the railroad track. It's a daycare back in there, Heavenly Food back in there. It used to be Joe's place back in that area. And what these landowners did, they gave these people access to a cut. They made a cut road that went in the original Hall Road. And where they allowed them to go cross, it's right there on the bend, and it's a health hazard because we have people coming on Hall Road, the access to go to Rosie's Heavenly Food, and used to be Joe's. I don't know if he's operating his place or not, but this been going on now for about 10 or 15 years, and I have complained to the sheriff department about all the traffic. And what these folks is doing, they're using this cut road to access, to get back in there, and they using it for wrong purpose. The little cut road off of Hall, where it is, if you look on the map of Hall Road, you'll see nothing but an original one-way road. It's all on accesses dead end. So we don't have a one-way in and one-way out. When you got people coming in from all over the county to get these businesses back here, it's a health hazard. If I live to see Sunday, I'll be 70 years old, and I've been back there 30 plus years. And I've never seen the mess that has been going on in the last 15 years. I have complained to the sheriff department. I talked to him personally last month about this issue, and I told him I was gonna be here. Because it's just, this been going on long enough. The noise and everything in the traffic. Folks come in, they sell drugs, they sit in the road, they do whatever they want to do. They throw the beer bottles, the cans, the food wrappers. Our church is located on 180 Hall. And they litter our roads, they litter the church roads. The church is on that side, and they got to pass the church going and coming to get to the little shortcut with the other owners. I have addressed this with the other owners. It's like 3 different people in this. One said they were gonna close it, but he can't close it unless all of them agree. So they gave access to these people, and it has been causing us problems ever since. So that's my complaint here this morning to our county commission. Mr. Warren, I don't think I never seen you out there, not now time, to address this situation. I talked to Kyle. Kyle know he done talked to me over and over, because we got some issues going on Hall Road right now.
Well, he never addressed me with it. He never, this is the first I heard of this.
Well, he know, it's documented.
I know, I mean, you ain't documented that you talked to me, because you would've talked to me about Hall Road. I didn't know anything about that until I seen it on the agenda. Matter of fact, I asked Pastor Robinson today who he was, because I didn't know who he was. Now, this is the first time I've seen him now. I'll be glad to address the issue, but I think this is something right here. It's something that, either the sheriff will have to deal with about all what you're saying or what, but I don't have a problem coming out there, but this is the first I heard anything about that road there.
Cause nobody else is not gonna complain. That's why I'm here this morning.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the complaint. That's the only way we gonna know if you let us know.
Well, I've been complaining to the sheriff department.
Well, I don't work with the sheriff.
I know it.
Thank you, ma'am.
But I will come out there.
Thank you, sir. And by the way, I'm in Jones' mother.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it. Moving on, consideration for an agreement with the State Department of Corrections for housing up to 148 people.
So, Mr. Chairman, if it's something we do annual, renew the contract, I make a motion that we continue with the agreement with the state.
Motion from Commissioner Warren to approve the agreement with prison for continuation.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Lovett, any discussion? Guess we didn't get an increase in the rate this year?
No.
Imagine
Still the
that.
same.
I wish they would.
Okay. Any other discussion on this? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving on to consideration to approve an amendment to the agreement with Allgreen.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Update on our contract. Have a motion by Commissioner Romeo to approve the amendment. Second, Commissioner Triplett. Any discussion?
I have some things to say. So I went through the contract and I have some issues with, different points of the contract. So I've put it in writing because I would like to make it part of the minutes. I'll give you a copy of it when I get through reading it. My objections to the amendment to the solid waste transportation agreement with Allgreen Services and Atlantic Waste Services are: paragraph 1, the original solid waste transportation agreement was not an exclusive agreement. Paragraph 2, this paragraph is false in that the original solid waste transportation agreement does not have the terms of 5 annually renewable terms. The original solid waste transportation agreement had an automatic renewal clause for the years, which states that the agreement shall renew automatically for 5 successive calendar years, which are otherwise known as renewal terms, unless the county takes action to terminate the contract by giving at least 30 days prior notice. This clause allows for termination of this contract, but also the renewal of the contract if no action was taken. The word annually, as defined by Merriam-Webster, is covering the period of a year. The word year, as defined, is being a cycle in the Gregorian calendar of 365 to 366 days divided into 12 months. The word renewable, as defined, is capable of being renewed, and the word renewed, as defined, is to begin again. The collection and disposal agreement was the contract that contained the annual renewable terms. There was no clause in that contract for early termination, nor for the contract to continue without any action taken by the board. One could present a case that, based on the definitions of the words annually renewable, that the contract should have been voted on in June 2020 in order for it to be renewed. No such vote took place. I have no issue with paragraph 3, 4, or 5. Paragraph 6, this paragraph reflects that the contract, let me read this for you one. That paragraph states, Allgreen shall provide the necessary loader and labor to efficiently load all acceptable solid waste disposed of in the transfer station. But the county will continue to manage the scales, weighing of inbound, outbound trucks, billing, collection of all transfer stations, maintain and repair the facility and property as necessary. This paragraph reflects that this contract is not for financial gain to the county. It shows that the county will continue to incur costs for the maintenance, operations, and repairs of the facility despite the increased use of the transfer station by Allgreen Services and Atlantic Waste Services and their desire to import in trash that originates outside of the county. Paragraph 7, it references the rates, okay? There's a transportation rate of $18. In March, I addressed that the hauling rate was high. We were currently paying $27.50 per ton, which is $5.50 a load on a 20-ton truck. Technically, we were paying more than that because the trucks were unloaded or underloaded. I recall the chairman stated that the hauling rate was not high because the trucking was expensive, and he knew this because he runs trucks on his own farm. Now, only 3 months later, Allgreen has presented to the board a decreased hauling rate of $18 a ton. Though it is better than $27.50, it is still too high for a county that has its own trailers and could be hauling the trash at an even lower rate than $18 a ton. Additionally, there is still, in the original solid waste transportation agreement, a fuel surcharge schedule. This schedule allows for an additional fee to be attached to the total cost of the load if fuel prices rise above the base rate of $2.75. Per the U.S. Energy Information Administration website, the current rate for diesel per gallon as of July the 12th is $3.21. There's a loading fee in this paragraph of $6.50. During the June meeting, I recall a statement that Allgreen would be performing the loading operations at no charge. The contract reflects a $6.50 rate per ton. Screven County generates roughly 11,000 tons of trash per year, which will result in a cost of $71,500 for loading. The county has the ability to load the trash at a true zero cost by using inmate labor with proper supervision. There is a tipping fee of $24.50 in this paragraph. In the June meeting, per the minutes approved today, Commissioner Triplett stated Allgreen had the advantage in tipping costs due to more volume, so Allgreen's rate is lower. Prior to the trash being hauled to Superior Landfill in Savannah, the county was hauling to Augusta Regional Landfill at a rate of $24.95. With the exception of the Augusta Regional Landfill, the other surrounding landfills participate in competitive bidding. I currently reached out to one and was given a tipping rate of $18 a ton. Therefore, no portion of this paragraph offers to the county any financial benefit. Paragraph 8. It is in reference to segregating and cleaning and separating out construction and demolition material. It's my understanding that this material has the ability to be recycled and reused for local use. Paragraph 9. It says, it referenced county shall allow Allgreen to dispose of municipal solid waste from the neighboring Jenkins County and Screven County transfer station. My issue with this paragraph is the use of the transfer station to combine Screven and Jenkins County's trash will not produce any substantial amount of revenue. Per the June meeting, Jenkins County produces roughly 4,800 tons of trash per year. We will charge Allgreen Services, Atlantic Waste, $51 per ton for that trash, and then immediately turn around and pay to Allgreen, Atlantic Waste, $49 per ton for that same trash. $2 per ton on 4,800 tons is only $9,600 a year. That amount will not cover any damages to the loading dock or the scales caused by the additional use. The county residents will be left to cover the cost, yet they are not the producers of that increased trash. Paragraph 10 says that there is a new rates established will be subject to the 4% disposal cost increase at the landfill at the beginning of each calendar year. This paragraph reflects that the contract is again not for financial gain to the county. At no other time in any public meeting has a 4% disposal cost increase been discussed. This fee is new and not found in any of the either of the two contracts that the county has with Allgreen and Atlantic Waste Services. This increase will result in a tipping fee of approximately $27.56 by the year 2024. Furthermore, this will stop the county from soliciting bids from the surrounding landfills and will ensure that we are no longer able to get the best rate for the citizens. I take no issue with paragraph 11 or 12. The other issues that are not present in this contract is there's no speak of insurance liability to the county for allowing a private entity or a non-employees to operate equipment on county-owned real estate. There's no compensation for the use of the real property known as the loading dock at the transfer station. Other county-owned locations, such as the rec department and ag center, require fees to be paid in order for the public to use them. Rules regarding no long-term or short-term storage of anything anywhere on the ground. There's no defined areas that are allowed. There's no speak of having defined areas that are allowed for use and others that are specifically off limits. What I mean is this transfer station is directly attached to an undeveloped piece of land that was once under consideration for a local landfill by the county, for the county. So you are granting access to an individual that this county just fought on a landfill. You're granting them access to a piece of property that has already been approved by the EPD for a landfill. There are no defined rules for the incoming trash. There are no rules stopping this company from routing trash from other counties through the Jenkins County collection site to the Screven County transfer station. There's no defined rules that at no time we need to have defined rules that at no time the inmate labor will be used to assist Allgreen Services with any labor needs for the loading dock. And there's no defined rules on hours of operation with no access to loading dock after hours. Having defined access or having defined rules on access to the unit will ensure that that there is no additional unaccounted for trash that is being brought into the transfer station after hours, which would result in improper billing on the trash, because if we don't know it's coming in, we're not going to bill for it if it's being brought in after hours. And that seems to be one of the issues that has kind of led up to all of this. When I look back in 2017, when I look back at the rates in 2017, you had a revenue, for 2018, your revenue was $36,000. The tipping revenue was $36,000. In 19, the tipping revenue was $44,000. The tipping revenue in 20 was $61,000. And in 21, it was $211,000. Even though we were at a 35-ton rate with the city of Sylvania, we should have been billing more. There should have been more revenue coming in because we should have been billing more. And the records indicate that like in 2019, there was no billing between September and March. The city picks up trash all the time, every week. They were dumping in our transfer station every week. We should have had bills going out every week. So to not have a process to oversee the trash coming in and out of the transfer station and not having defined rules to make sure that we are accounting for all the trash that's coming in, so then we can be billing properly for all the trash coming in, because that trash we will have to pay to go out. I mean, I find that very concerning that that's not in this contract. So I respectfully will vote no on the amendment, as the stipulations guiding the contract are incomplete, inaccurate, and they're inconsistent with the oath of office I took when I was sworn in. Furthermore, if it's not the board's intent to set All Green Services and Atlantic Waste Services up for access to a landfill, I implore each commissioner to hold off on voting on this amendment. Let's make revisions and additions, and to hold an open discussion with the citizens of this county before moving forward on it.
Anything else?
Not at this moment.
Good. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I think that raised several good questions. I know here in the past months, we have voted on resolutions, code amendments, and in my opinion, we really haven't discussed them as a board, workshops. I think we're moving too fast, and we're not giving this complete thought as we should. So, Allison, I appreciate the good information. There was several stuff I didn't really understand about it or know about it, but I'll find out. 200 acres?
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that.
There's 2 tracts of land back there. One is 130 and the other one is like 200 and something, but there are actually two sections of all of that area back there that has already been approved through the EPD for a landfill.
So already approved.
And it's my understanding that the county was looking into developing it for a county landfill, but it was due to the cost of a liner that the county stopped. Not, that's my understanding. You know, I don't have that in writing, but Mr. Wall has no problem with putting in a liner.
I think we need to discuss this further. That's my opinion too.
I just feel it lacks other safeguards that our citizens are entitled to.
All right.
I think many of the things you mentioned are far outside the scope of this agreement.
I agree.
Well, it's the beginning of the scope of that agreement. It's the beginning of the beginning.
I can think of a million things that are
Well,
outside the
yeah,
scope of this contract. I mean, but that doesn't mean those things are going to occur.
Doesn't mean they're not needed.
So are you suggesting that you should move forward on this
Absolutely.
and then come back and add to it? Why would you do that?
I don't think it needs any additions or subtraction, because the things that you mentioned are outside the scope of this agreement. We can't just assume that
Like what?
1,000 different things are gonna happen because they're outside the scope of this agreement.
Like what? Name one.
Like the 200 acres of land out there, that has nothing to do with this agreement.
Nothing.
Okay, so does access hours for making sure that we are accounting for the total trash coming in and it's being billed properly? So, because everyone understands that when it rolls across that scale, we bill for it. And that same trash, we have to pay to get rid of it. So if it's not accounted for when it goes across the scale, we've lost 51, let's just say 1 ton. We've lost $51, but then it's gonna cost us $49. So we're in the hole, $49.
Well, once it comes across that scale, it's ours.
That's correct. But if no
So
one is in
what's-
that scale, to write that ticket and issue that ticket because it's being brought in after hours.
And we've
I
had
Who's gonna
think
account
you
for
need
it?
to put the,
Yeah,
the
Okay.
small parts in the agreement, like operational hours and stuff.
but we've had that discussion before too.
Work out.
And
We
you know,
have-
historically, we've had some problems with billing.
Sure. And I think that's what we're doing,
That's
we're
right,
trying to get where
and
we're
we're
the
getting it
better
under
spot.
control. I mean,
See, just like we're discussing just now, that's what we need to do at a workshop. I don't think we need to jump the gun and vote on this right away.
Mike, we just had a workshop.
Yeah, and this not, this, I mean, we can't control after hours and all that, who gonna go out there and
It's
work?
our
Yeah,
transfer
I
station
know,
and we
yeah.
do control it. We are
I mean,
responsible
saying that
for
you
it.
say
Well, I
after
think
hours, that's assuming that that's what happened.
When the gates are closed.
Yeah, the gates are closed.
They have
Yeah,
keys.
yeah, I mean,
Well, I think the monitoring of that is
Well,
easy
are we
enough,
taking,
and
are we taking Jenkins County trash now?
I don't know. So I mean, this is an opportunity for us to make our sanitation department a bit more efficient. I mean, I don't see where it's any, I realize what you're saying possibly could happen. I don't believe it's pretty far-fetched, especially landfill part, that's way out there. Like, I don't think that's I don't even think that's possible, much less probable. And so,
It only takes 4
So,
for who?
votes because it's
so
county
this
owned.
is-
I just,
Okay.
that's my opinion.
So can I ask one question, I mean, maybe to each commissioner, do you think we can do this cheaper if we were to take back over and do it ourselves?
Well, I've already been given a rate of $18 a ton tipping.
I mean, we paid
And
three
we're paying
hundred and
$24.50 now.
$36,000 just to bring the trash to us from 18 sites. $336,000 just to bring the trash to us. Now, does that number seem high? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong,
It cost us $700 before he did it for 336.
We tried.
with 70-something sites. So then, at the back end of that, we cut 2 or 3 jobs, reduced our sites. I mean,
No,
I
answer your
think-
question, just my opinion, no, I don't know
You
that
don't
we
think we
could
can?
do it. We might could do it cheaply, but I'm not sure we can be very effective at doing it.
I would like to point
Well,
out
if
that,
we handled our own, just, I read in the paper last week, we don't have enough trash in this county to fill a truck. That was in the paper. So
Must
I
be
think
true.
that's a good
no,
thing.
that's not true.
If we don't have enough trash
we don't have
in the
enough
county
trash to fill a truck.
to fill the truck, that's what was in the paper. That's why we need to take other volumes in. I mean, I think that's good.
I would like to
I
point
don't
out
think
that
it's
the-
accurate.
Well, somebody said,
I'd like to point out that the expenses for 18 was $1,089,000. The expenses for 2019 was $1,049,000. The expenses for 20 is $909,000. 21 is $894,000. So granted, they are slowly going down. However, if you look at it in comparison to the consolidation of the sites going from 7 to 20 and the loss of the jobs, and you no longer are running trucks, you don't have the maintenance on the trailers, you don't have the diesel cost, you don't have all of those additional costs anymore because you have literally outsourced it. Your expenses are not declining at a rate, that's proper. It should have dropped substantially. When you outsource, and I had a conversation with a certified accountant, and he and I looked at these numbers, and we both agree that, when you outsource something, you should see a substantial drop in your expenses. And that's not what's happening. What has happened is you have seen an increase in your revenue, which means that someone in the county, whether, I don't know if it was this office, that office, this board, whatever, was not billing. So if your revenue is here and your expenses are here and you outsource, technically your expenses should go here, which gives you a greater profit margin. But what's happened is your expenses have stayed the same and your revenue's here, okay? Your profit margin has increased somewhat, but if you would do it like it should be done, do it in-house, then and bill properly and collect properly, your revenue should be here, your expenses will be down here, and you have a larger profit margin. This is money that the county can make that can be spent for other things. This money is not tied directly to a service district or taxes. There's not strings attached to this money. So it could help buy a new fire truck. It could help fix the roads. Because this is generated revenue. This is not a fee that is attached to a service district. This is not a tax. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is money that we're making as a business. And you're allowing this revenue to be given to Sam Sullivan and Ben Wall to benefit them. And this board has a duty to benefit our people, not those companies.
Well, I just ask that you take it to a vote. I mean, there's so much nuance involved in all this information, it's utterly incorrect. I mean,
What's
if you take it
incorrect?
Go ahead.
I agree.
What's incorrect? What's incorrect?
Some of your opinions I don't agree with, whether they're incorrect or not.
But what's incorrect?
Yeah.
Commissioner Triplett.
Man, you interrupt, man, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking.
Well,
Inflation. You look at inflation, COGS, cost of good inventory, cost of metal, cost of fuel, diesel. Health insurance, 50% increase over 2 years. The collections went up fivefold. There's a $1 million savings so far. We didn't go up on taxes, why? We got a $1 million savings right there. There's a lot of consideration here.
Sure.
Risk. Everybody that doesn't own stuff doesn't understand the risk. There's a monetary value to risk when you have people on the road running stuff. There's a lot of things here that we're avoiding. Lawsuits, risk. And we didn't really lay anybody off. I mean, that's kind of a false thing too. Sam Sullivan and Ben Wall offered everybody a job. The lawyer offered them a job elsewhere. The prisoner offered them a job. I mean, the savings was substantial.
well,
And if we want to get back into business, Mike, I'm not opposed to your idea. I just have an opinion that I don't think government at this time can do it. And I could be wrong. I will admit to that. However, it just costs a lot right now to buy a loader. It costs a lot to do all that stuff. So it's going to cost us a lot to get in to try it.
Well, we already have a loader, 13,000 to fix it, but
Sure.
apparently because it's gonna let it sit there and rust. So I guess that's not gonna be fixed. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but I think
I don't
barriers to
know.
entry are high.
You know, I'm good. We sit here and beat this drum all day.
right.
I think it's
Well, I'll
already.
go on and call for the vote. All in
I think it's
favor
already
of,
voted on.
what? Mike?
So I think it's already decided what's gonna happen, so.
All right, in consideration to approve the amendment, all green, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving on, consideration to award a bid for 2021 Elmead Road projects. Where do you have the bid? You bring me the ones for the other two, since you're up.
Yeah,
Like it's kinda hard to.
There you go.
Right, open one there for me, please.
Yeah. Roger, why did you open the bid? We getting close to, the 3 roads?
I talked to them last week. He told me that the rain stopped held it way up, but they are on the way.
Those you go to?
No, they're different bids. Yeah, but you start opening, it look like it takes you.
I
All
think
right.
those might be from the same company, Rosa, so look at them, cause
They're just for that, one of them's
one
for
of them
that.
they dropped off and one of them come by FedEx, but
All
I
right.
didn't wanna open them.
Bid from Everett Dykes totals $462,073.92 for 2021 Elmead project. And bid from Littlefield Construction's $289,766.40.
Why is it always $200,000 difference?
That's a good question.
The last one y'all did was roughly $200,000 difference.
Cause these people usually don't wanna do the work unless they make a lot of money on it.
What?
Our construction's working right now, I think. All right, y'all heard the bids, what are the wishes of the board?
462, yeah.
How often does, I'm sorry, do we need to do a motion if we have a discussion?
No, go on and ask a question. Go ahead. Ask a question, Allison, please, if you have one.
Littlefield is the one that does a lot of our work.
Yeah.
Has been since
We-
2013.
Are we having reoccurring problems on the work that he's done? Like Buttermill, Lewis Station, I think the end of Lewis Station in Bascom is messed up. So,
The problem with that right there, it wasn't Littlefield, it was what we paved over, but gone now, we're trying to put an inch of level down, correct that problem.
okay. And these are the only two people that submit bids.
We sent out 3 or 4, bid packages, that's on two.
And we put it
It's
down.
now 4.
See, 3 or 4.
And we put it on Facebook.
That's not on. Okay.
Need a motion to accept one of these bids.
I'd say Littlefield being that the owners are here.
Yeah, you make a motion?
Yeah, I make a
I
motion.
second that motion.
Commissioner Dixon made a motion to accept the bid from Littlefield Construction, $289,766.40. Have a second from Commissioner Warren. Any more discussion about that bid? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
No, I'm opposed. Just because
Motion to
I
approve.
don't have the information, I don't have the two bids beside me, what it makes you material wise and all of that.
Didn't expect anything to.
Well, good.
They're two different.
Like, what you're doing,
You do something.
All
At least we're on the same page.
And then this is, for that striping and stuff, is that right, Roger?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the safety grant?
Yep, this is
Okay.
the safety building.
Mid-State Construction and Striping, $85,000.
What roads are being striped? Should ask another one.
That was approved at the last meeting, the list.
I don't know if it's in there. And it's got the mileage, so whatever.
Roger, do you know which roads are being striped?
I don't have that list with me. I know Rockport was one,
It's 36 miles of solid
Ashland
white
was
stripe.
one,
Ain't doing a Rome strips, huh?
some Buttermilk.
Buttermilk. Housendale's one of them? Did you say Housendale?
Housendale's one of them.
Okay.
Two different sections.
Yeah.
And then from Mid-State Striping,
Is that,
they're different companies. but
Wasn't it, one's
same.
Mid-State Construction?
One's Mid-State Construction and Striping, and one's Mid-State Striping.
yeah, but different people.
They're different,
Companies.
different
Different
names.
company, Roger.
This bid's 61.5. So even if it's the same company, we're gonna accept lower bid.
Well, two different names.
Yeah, there are two different companies.
That's one way to get it.
Just swap it up.
You should be real high and get kinda high, so there's a,
It's one you're not supposed to open the second package when nobody else did. Supposed to happen. All right, what are the wishes of the board? To accept the low bid?
Low bid.
Where's the motion?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Warren made a motion to accept the bid for the striping from Mid-State Striping for $61,500. Need a second? Commissioner Triplett.
I'm sorry, yes.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Any opposed?
No, I voted for that, okay. How about that?
All right. Motion carries, and thank you. All right. Moving on to the
You want to put that in while you do
employees,
the
man.
I'll pay the
Don't let me
secretary, I'll
mess
pay
them
the
up, Rosa,
secretary.
don't let
then.
Moving on to our public comment portion. Anyone you would like to speak to anything we discussed today?
No. You already spoke, public comment.
No, we've closed the public comment portion of commissioner's report.
Yeah, I got a couple things. Congratulations, Hubert, on retirement.
From state court.
State court.
But not from representing Screven
I
County.
didn't
to
say
the
that,
county.
that's what I meant. I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I know Ms. Mills reached out to me earlier and I talked to Lori. we had a guy going around town harassing people, I think everybody knows about it. She was gonna try to look at maybe updating some of our ordinances and things like that to kind of help better protect people. So Laura's working on that, I appreciate you. Everybody knew about it, I appreciate you pushing on a little bit of that.
No problem.
I think Laura has a few different ones from some different counties, she's gonna get Hubert to take a look at it, go from there.
All right. Any other commissioner? Lori, do you have anything?
Actually, no.
Good.
I do have some stuff I need y'all to sign before y'all leave though.
Okay.
Y'all,
Mr. Reeves,
All,
your mind
all of
clear?
y'all have to sign one thing.
There's nothing new on the litigation currently pending, so no.
Good.
good.
We don't have need.
Unfortunately, we'd love to have some news about movement, but it just hasn't.
That's undoubtedly the slowest thing known to man.
It's just unbelievable.
And that's still due to the COVID.
Is that normal?
And
It's not normal, and yes, a lot of it is due to COVID and the fact that we created a huge backlog of cases, and I doubt that this one is extremely high on that judge's list of cases to be handled.
Any other business come before us then? Not, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you.
Next time I'm gonna let you know. Where's it gonna come to Alaska?
Thank you.
I'll take it.